GSL.
What up, Tosis?
Suppity.
We have seen some great games, but now comes the scary part for the players of the group stage. One of these guys is going home. It's going to be Rogue. We had high expectations for this guy coming in here. PenguiN, the only player who's, well, it's his first time here in the GSL Code S.
Well, we'll see what he can do, but as far as ZvZ killers go, Rogue is up at the top. He's 3-0'd Sulkies. Just recently, I mean, the guy has won countless ZvZs against the top players.
Yeah,
he's
very good.
Looking fantastic, really in all the matchups. Did lose to Fantasy, sure, but I would really expect him to be able to take out PenguiN here.
Now, for the map lineup, King Sejong Station is first. No surprise there. We've been seeing that map for a long time. We'll probably continue to see that map for a while. Foxtrot Labs, though, that was our black sheep map.
For a while, not anymore. Seen it more and more, which is pretty cool. I really like the map, actually. Really fun, really good games on it. But you know what? It is ZvZ. It is a knife fight. It is a tightrope walk sometimes. There are possibilities that PenguiN can pick up some build order advantages and take this home. So we'll see.
It all comes down to this for these two players as they fight to survive and move on to the final round here today of the GSL Code S. In the bottom right, we have our first Zerg player, and I actually don't know which one it is. He is
GNL Green Wings Log.
They highlighted the drone so that you can
That
see.
is Artos' favorite X-Men, Rogue.
She's
Number
great.
2 is
That's how I stole. I
Jubilee.
stole your casting power by touching you.
By kissing me is how you did it.
Yeah.
The world knows now.
I kissed you too long, though, and you became a crappy caster.
In the upper left, in the red,
SK Telecom T1 PenguiN.
who
His
is
favorite
Artos?
Batman.
Well, no, it's who Artos would be if he was a Batman villain. You would no doubt be the Penguin, maybe the Riddler.
Yeah, I could possibly be the Riddler.
On a good day, maybe the Scarecrow, but mostly I think you'd just be.
You'd be one of the thugs that killed Batman's parents. Get a life, Tasis.
That's so good.
You're so hard up for cash.
I was ready for what you had, but that was not what I thought you were going to throw. That's so funny.
You thought I was going to go Poison Ivy or Catwoman?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go, I don't know, like something. One of the ones that it's like less known. You're like, oh, Jesus. Well, I was going to say maybe throw Mad Hatter at me, but that would also be you too.
Yeah. No, you're one of the thugs. No, you know what you are? You remember the Batman movie?
Which one? Which
with
one?
the Dark Knight with the Joker.
Yeah, the second
Right,
one.
right.
With
You know the
Christian
scene
Bale?
in the
Yeah.
jail, and there's like a really big fat guy with a bomb
Yeah.
sewn into his belly.
Yeah,
that's
me.
you. You're like, oh, I don't feel so good, and then you explode. It's like, wow, Tasteless. What a sick villain you are.
Oh my God.
God, Tasteless. What a waste.
So funny. Okay, so they both see each other going for quick hatches. We do have a quicker gas here from Rogue. So funny, man.
Actually, quicker gas from PenguiN, to be fair. Got those two mixed up there.
Oh, excuse me.
No. But anyways, it's nothing too crazy happening. Have to wait a minute here, see where these builds diverge. Maybe they just stay the same and we watch roaches go back and forth across the map for a while. Sometimes
Still laughing
happens.
about me. I'm in Batman, the guy that killed Batman's parents. It's like I'm kind of bad, but like unintentionally bad. Like. All right, we have Link Speed on the way here. And we're going to have to wait. ZvZ especially tends to be a little bit slow in the early game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely can be.
I'm trying to think of another question that's similar to this that I can now throw at you. I'm intrigued at your improbability there with that.
Yeah, it was very improbable that my improv would be so strong.
Was that like a play on words, like those words are somehow related?
Yeah.
They're not at all.
Yeah, because they sound the same.
Yeah. They both start with im.
Yeah.
Here's
Improv.
PenguiN now.
There he is. Doesn't have his top hat right now. Doesn't have his umbrellas.
We're going to see if this map will be his Gotham after all. Or if Rogue, who in this case, would we count Rogue as Batman in this case, or could he be? I'm trying to, I guess when you think about the Batman comics, there's actually not a lot of protagonists. It's really, it's got a rich atmosphere of antagonists, but
yeah,
it's not like X-Men where it's like, well, we got a ton of protagonists, a ton of antagonists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wouldn't be Robin, but
maybe Rogue is just Batman. Like Catwoman. It's not really clear whose side she's on, really.
I can't quite get on board with that.
You can't really?
No.
Well, if we had to be good guys, and
he's a Marvel guy.
I would be Batman, and Artosis would be Batgirl for sure. Is how this would go down.
No.
Tastos is Robin and another Robin.
Sounds about
You can't stop two Robins, guys.
Alfred and another Alfred. All right. It's a little bit.
Professor Gordon and another Professor Gordon. All right, so we have a little bit of back and forth here.
You know what you are from, what character you are from Spider-Man?
Who?
You're Doc Croc's missing arm.
Oh, my God. That's pretty good.
These layers are almost done, Tasteless. Let's see what's going to happen. Oh. Come on,
you know who you are from Game of Thrones? Your brand's Broken Legs.
No, that's literally you. Rogue going for Spire. PenguiN as well. This is really, really cool to see. I actually haven't gotten to see much ZvZ lately. Leagues have been a little bit short on ZvZs as of late, but
there's been some leagues where Zerg's been pretty sparse too.
Yeah,
from time to time.
And Mutas went way out of style towards the end of last year. Like, we were almost never in Korea seeing ZvZs with Mutas playing it. In Korea, at least. But to see both these players going straight into Mutas, I'm really excited about that, actually.
It's going to be a little bit
like
a Brood War ZvZ here.
A little bit.
So we got the third base now coming down here. Actually, at the exact same time for these two players. Oh, okay, there it is. The hatch starts now. I got to cover myself so the internet's not too critical. Like, Tasteless, you said exact, but it's actually like a second and a half apart.
Well, I'm glad that you're worried about things like that. That's not a waste of your time at all. The guy worrying about that guy. I'm glad that you have your priorities in line, Tasteless.
Looks like the Spires are about to finish here. And it's going to be Muta versus Muta.
Indeed. Unless one of them goes Corruptors.
Could be.
No, it couldn't.
Okay, so they're grabbing the gases now.
Yeah, and normally how this goes is if you can cancel your opponent's third or kill their third somehow, that's really fantastic. But when it's Muta versus Muta, a lot of times you have to stay on Muta, because if you switch out of Mutas, even with spores there, it's hard to actually get into your infestors without your opponent figuring out and killing you because he has too many Mutas.
Yeah, the window of time between that switch is just too great.
Yeah.
I noticed they're both getting armor, and that's because of Muta versus Muta with the bouncing glaives. You want to have the armor over the attack.
Prevents 3 damage.
Yep.
It's insane.
It's crazy. And we're going to see this unfold.
Yeah.
I noticed they both did a good job pulling their overlords out here, too.
What we'll probably mostly see here is Ling's running around a little bit and Muta's flying back and forth, because you can't really go and engage. Someone has to eventually, like, buck up and go for something other than Mutas. Well, actually, they don't. They both can just sit on Muta. But if you both sit on Muta and one guy gets, like, an Infestor to go with that, he wins. So, of course, that's as we hit maxes and stuff, because you'll have way more Mutas for a little bit because there's so much gas involved in doing that. But this Muta versus Muta is a very tricky thing.
So we do see PenguiN coming out now and just driving out any Lings over here. Intel is really important here, because if you know where their Muta ball is flying around,
yes,
it makes your decision-making 1,000 times easier.
Yeah, if you know that their Muta ball is going to be in the wrong place, sometimes you can swoop in and get something big. Like, sometimes we'll see people, like, target down an extractor, let's say.
It looks like for potential fourth bases, we do have, I think Rogue's actually going to take the base right up here where the creep's been pushed to. We'll see if that's
actually. You think he'll take that middle one?
Maybe. We'll see.
Huh.
I mean, he could take either the upper right or the bottom left. We have creep also being pushed over here for Rogue towards the bottom left base, so he might be going there. And we have the second armor upgrade coming here for Rogue, by the way. I don't think we've had that started just yet for PenguiN. We'll see if he gets that.
Yeah, second Evo coming up. Infestation Pit for Rogue. So it looks like he's the one that's going to want to try to switch up his tech a little bit here. Now, you're going to notice the Mutalisk count get way higher for PenguiN as this occurs. And way higher, actually, we can already see, like 22 against 19. That is a big difference. Like, if you have 22 mutas going against 19 mutas and they all have the same upgrades and the same micro, it's like an overwhelming victory for the higher amount of mutas. And as we can see, PenguiN is simply able to afford more. 24 now to a 19.
The question is, is he going to be punished during this switch? It is a great time, by the way, for PenguiN to try to expand up over here.
It's hard, by the way, to count that Mutalisk stack correctly.
Oh, yeah. When they're bunched up like that.
When they spread like that, it's a lot easier.
Glance at and be like, okay.
Yeah. If your opponent is really on top of clicking his mutas and keeps them super clumped, it's very, very difficult to tell.
Rogue not tempted into a third base just yet. And PenguiN just staying very active. There's not a lot of intel on the map. You can see there's actually a much better spread right now for PenguiN because he does have air control. He can move his overlords out a little bit. It's a bit tougher for Rogue to sneak up on PenguiN.
Look at this Mutalisk count. It's so different between the two. If PenguiN just went and attacked right now, he'd kill him. 35 mutas to 21. He would just kill him. The spores don't even matter at this point. But we have the Infestors going to pop very soon. That can change things right around. So it looks like PenguiN has missed the attack timing here. Rogue has done a fine job of keeping his mutas back and not letting him really count how many there are. Or perhaps we can say PenguiN didn't scout hard enough to see how many mutas there were going to be. And now those Infestors are out. But still, the 40 mutas don't necessarily just straight lose. Like, you have to hit your fungals, you have to hit them in the right place, you have to hit the right amount of mutas.
And this is a moment where it's good to have the mutas actually spread out a little bit more. You haven't bunched up like that. I mean, up until that point in time, it's good to have them bunched, but when you see a clump like this, we see right there, or a little bit earlier, where they're just all in one infestation. Fungal, excuse me. Cast, it's
thousands of damage.
One spell suddenly loses the whole game.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they just cast that 75 mana. Oh, look at that, thousands of damage.
It's one matchup could just be completely turned upside down by simply getting one good spell cast off.
Yeah.
And I think by now, Rogue is probably aware that he's in a tougher spot. Oh my God, that's what we were talking about.
Indeed, and look, he's got to keep those back ones fungled. These Lings coming in and doing some quick work over here. Now, he's done a lot of damage there, but still, overwhelming amounts of mutas do push forward.
It turns out it still was not enough, even with that huge clump still fungled. The sheer number of mutas still won that engagement head-to-head. Now we have both players trading bases right now. It's turned out to be a pretty crazy ZvZ. The mutas are now tearing through everything that PenguiN has back in his base, but PenguiN, in the meanwhile, doesn't really have an answer to all these mutas. PenguiN, though, tearing up. PenguiN's getting torn up back here in his own base here by Rogue's Lings. This is crazy.
Indeed it is, but look at that Mutalisk count, 44 to 14. Now, more fungals are coming out, but does he have enough to actually chain them all the way? No, he does not. No. Not quite.
And
a lot of red and orange mutas.
Apparently, it's just not enough. That's funny.
Oh, God, almost.
So many times that fungal does win it, but that number of mutas was just too great. This may become a matter of who has the last building remaining. PenguiN just doesn't really have...
Well, it looks like PenguiN has to fly back to actually prevent himself from dying.
Is he going to get that
which means that Rogue may actually still be able to just win this straight up. He's just making a bunch of spores, which is what he needs. Now, look at this. No hatches left.
He does have enough money to remake the hatches, but this is like an economic shutdown. Yeah, all that Rogue needs is spores here.
Yeah. 8 spores. That is a lot of spores. Definitely can get some work done with that. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he can
There's
actually...
no detection right now.
When he wants to, unburrow and get those drones, too. They got nowhere to go. He can even watch for when those drones leave. So he knows when he's trying to start back up his economy. Yeah.
And, you know, this looked like it was going to be really bad for Rogue, but that Zergling counterattack really did enough for him.
Wow.
Poor PenguiN.
This is
I don't
This
know
is
if
a really
Penguin
funny
should have gone mutas. Penguins can't fly, right? So
Well,
Yeah.
that's still a lot of mutas, but the spores are too much.
Indeed.
GG, Rogue wins #1. It was a pretty cool ZvZ.
Yeah, it was
I really
actually-
enjoyed. I really enjoyed watching that.
it was actually pretty close to, I would say. You know, the overwhelming mutas were pretty darn scary, but Rogue able to pull that one out.
I gotta say, PenguiN, he's definitely a good player, but you can see the difference here.
Yeah.
The guys that are a bit more seasoned, the veteran players, seem to be able to not crack under the pressure. PenguiN's doing a good job, but his opponents are just a lot cleaner, a lot calmer.
PenguiN may in a couple seasons just be getting really extremely good. Like SKT1 is very good at raising Zergs. They've got Dark and Sue right now, which are probably the 2 best Zergs in the whole world at the moment.
PenguiN, more of a practice partner on SKT.
Yeah. Well, he's a new kid.
Not a headliner player, but it's impressive he's here. He's the only guy where it's his first time in the GSL. The rest of these guys been there, done that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe he can come back here. Maybe he can win in the next round. But right now, it's dire straits for PenguiN.
Indeed. That's some frigid water. He does have a nice layer of fat, so.
Foxtrot Labs, a map that was unpopular previously in the GSL. Now we have Iron Fortress. That so far seems to be unpopular simply because it's new. That may pick up a little bit more later on. Anyways, it's time for our second game in our 4th best of 3. The loser of this match